Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney passed away overnight. Americans heading to the polls for critical races on Election Day and unlocking mysteries across the globe. Breaking news as we come on the air. The 46th Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, has passed away overnight at 84 years old after serving the country for decades. His legacy this morning. Your voice, your vote. Key races on Election Day across the country, from the race for mayor of New York City.
Socialism has not worked anywhere on the globe, not in Venezuela, not in Cuba, and it's not going to work in New York City.
We stand on the verge of ushering in a new day for our city.
34-year-old Zohran Mamdani on the brink of history, plus governor's races in New Jersey and Virginia. What's at stake in California as President Trump weighs in overnight?
Day 35 and no end in sight. The government shutdown, now tied for the longest ever, as major concern grows for tens of millions of Americans.
We're ordinary, everyday Americans. So we have to put everything in a budget. And if one thing goes wrong with that budget, it can knock everything out.
Now, what the Trump administration is saying about funding SNAP as states and food banks step up. Urgent pasta recall. The products ripped from the shelves at several major retailers, including Trader Joe's, Walmart, and more. At least 6 people have died, more than 24 hospitalized.
Unlocking mysteries.
They say Egypt holds mysteries no one has ever solved.
This morning, a new wonder unveiled. We're some of the first inside.
This is what millions of people will come to see, one of the most important and recognizable artifacts in all of human history.
King Tut's tomb like you've never seen it.
Remembering the unforgettable Diane Ladd.
You can kiss me where the sun don't shine.
Looking back at the 3-time Oscar nominee's 7-decade career.
You aren't, and I mean are not gonna see him ever. End of story.
Who shared the screen with her daughter, Laura Dern.
Some say never meet your heroes, but I say if you're really blessed, you get them as your parents.
This morning, Laura's tribute to her mom.
We could be heroes.
Mega Marathon, a world record after more than 59,000 people crossed the finish line in New York City. Plus, the mega star-studded celebration in Los Angeles, and the pledge from a World Series champion.
I'm ready to get another ring next year. Let's go.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
And we do say good morning, America. Good to be with you on this very busy Tuesday morning.
It is, and we want to get right to that breaking news as we come on the air. The 46th Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, passed away overnight at 84 years old after a consequential career. Chief Washington Correspondent John Carl is here. You covered most of it.
George, I've known Dick Cheney for 35 years. This is somebody who was the most powerful vice president we've ever had, the most consequential political figure, certainly one of the most consequential political figures of his lifetime, and somebody who will be remembered for a dramatic change he made in his politics late in his life.
I believe you're looking at the next vice president of the United States.
There had never been a vice president quite like Dick Cheney. On some of the defining issues of his time, Cheney's views often became American policy. He was a polarizing figure, beloved by conservatives and vilified by the left, compared to a Star Wars villain.
They wouldn't call me Darth Vader for nothing.
He did more than anyone, with the possible exception of the president he served, to craft America's response to the September 11th attacks. He favored aggressive actions against suspected terrorists and was unapologetic about the use of harsh tactics, including waterboarding, which many regarded as torture.
I was a big supporter of waterboarding. I was a big supporter of the enhanced interrogation techniques.
Despite his decades in Washington, Cheney considered himself a Westerner at heart. Richard Bruce Cheney was born in Nebraska in 1941. Cheney's first big job in Washington was working for President Gerald Ford's chief of staff, Donald Rumsfeld. And when Rumsfeld was named Secretary of Defense, Cheney, just 34 years old, became the youngest person to hold the title of White House Chief of Staff. After Jimmy Carter defeated Ford in the 1976 presidential election, Cheney returned to Wyoming and ran for Congress, ended up serving 5 terms in the House of Representatives. In 1989, President George H.W. Bush nominated Cheney to be Secretary of Defense.
Dick Cheney is a trusted friend and advisor, and I'm convinced that he's going to be a great leader of our nation's military forces.
He won praise for his leadership of Operation Desert Storm, a multi-nation coalition that liberated Kuwait. Cheney then turned to the private sector and made millions as the CEO of the oil industry construction firm Halliburton. In the summer of 2000, Cheney agreed to help George W. Bush conduct a search for a running mate. Bush would narrow his short list to one, Dick Cheney himself.
I picked him because he is without a doubt fully capable of being the President of the United States.
During the 2000 Florida recount, Cheney returned to Washington, where he chaired the Bush presidential transition, putting together the government for the incoming administration, setting the stage for him to become the most influential vice president in American history. It was the September 11 terrorist attacks that would define a new era for the nation and Cheney's role in the administration. With President Bush traveling, it was Cheney who was in the White House Situation Room during the September 11th attacks, giving the military the order to shoot down any unresponsive aircraft. Cheney became the architect of America's war on terror, the fight against al-Qaeda.
Well, we're going to spend time in the shadows and in the intelligence world. A lot of what needs to be done here will have to be done quietly, without any discussion, using sources and methods that are available to our intelligence agencies, if we're going to be successful. That's the world these folks operate in. And so it's going to be vital for us to use any means at our disposal, basically, to achieve our objective.
Less than a month after September 11th, the U.S. launched attacks against al-Qaeda and its Taliban allies in Afghanistan, capturing members of the terrorist group with information on the planning and execution of the attacks. He advocated the use of warrantless wiretapping, the expansion of executive privilege, and enhanced interrogation techniques, which critics said amounted to torture and violated the Geneva Convention.
They don't deserve to be treated as a prisoner of war. They don't deserve the same guarantees and safeguards that would be used for an American citizen going through the normal judicial process.
Cheney was also a driving force behind the removal of Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein. He played a central role in making the case for the 2003 invasion of Iraq, arguing that Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction.
Simply stated, there is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, and against us.
Despite subsequent revelations that there were no weapons of mass destruction, Cheney said the decision to go to war against Iraq was the right one.
We got rid of one of the worst dictators of the 20th century. We took down his government.
In later years, Cheney broke with the far right on several issues, including same-sex marriage.
As many of you know, one of my daughters is gay, and something that we've lived with for a long time in our family. I think people ought to be free to enter into any kind of union they wish, any kind of arrangement they wish.
And Cheney was a sharp critic of President Trump's actions on and before January 6th, standing by his daughter Liz, then a member of Congress from Wyoming, on the first anniversary of the attack, condemning the former president in a campaign video he shot for his daughter during the 2022 midterm elections.
Liz is fearless. She never backs down from a fight. There is nothing more important she will ever do than lead the effort to make sure Donald Trump is never again near the Oval Office.
In 2024, the lifelong Republican endorsed Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris over Trump, saying Trump should never be trusted with power again after January 6th, and that Americans each have a duty to put country above partisanship to defend our Constitution.
How is Dick Cheney going to be remembered?
I saw a lot of history, was there when a lot of it was made, and I'll always be tremendously grateful for having had that opportunity. But in terms of how I performed, some people will agree with it. I run into them all the time. I also run into people that didn't like what I did or why I did it. But I'm very comfortable with what I did and why I did it and how I did it, and I'll let others judge whether they liked it or not.
Do you have any regrets?
Not really.
Not really. Classic Dick Cheney. When he endorsed Kamala Harris, it wasn't simply remarkable for his endorsement of a Democrat for the first time in his entire life, but what he said about Donald Trump. He said, quote, "In our nation's 248-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He can never be trusted with power again." And he was a man of few words. I will never forget, Robin, when I was covering the Bush campaign in 2000, and I had heard that Dick Cheney had changed his registration to vote in Wyoming, which would have been a requirement effectively for him to be the running mate. He was running the search for a running mate, and I got his home phone number. I called him up at home, and he answered. And I said, "So is this true? Are you actually under consideration? Are you a leading candidate now to be the running mate?" And he just answered, "Yep." And that was it.
That was it. Man, a few words. Man, a few words.
Yeah.
How do you think he will be remembered?
You know, I mean, it's a complicated legacy. He will be remembered certainly for his role in protecting America after 9/11, for that big mistake that America made in the war with Iraq, and absolutely as being a patriot and a defender of American democracy until his last days.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, John. Appreciate it very much. And on this election day, Americans are heading to the polls across the country, casting the final votes. The key races, New Jersey, Virginia, and here in New York. The race for mayor is getting national attention. Aaron Katersky starts us off at a polling location in Queens. Good morning to you, Aaron.
Good morning, Robin. Zoran Mamdani voted here just a short time ago, saying it is now time for a new day in our politics. His once long-shot campaign may now be snowballing toward history. This morning, New York City may be on the cusp of choosing a 34-year-old self-described Democratic socialist with little political experience as its 111th mayor. Zoran Mamdani is facing off against independent and former Governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa. While his opponents see nothing but fault, Zoran Mamdani's focus on affordability and a savvy social media-driven campaign striking a chord with voters looking for a change. Mamdani tried to show a common touch, more like New Yorkers than their politicians.
Happy Juice, how we doing?
Visiting a club.
Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks!
Watching the Knicks from the nosebleeds, a contrast to his chief rival, Andrew Cuomo, who sat with the current mayor courtside. Cuomo, lagging in the polls, is accusing Mamdani of trying to turn the home of capitalism socialist.
My opponent is a socialist and wants to make New York City a socialist city, and socialism has not worked anywhere on the globe.
At the 11th hour, an endorsement for Cuomo from President Trump, who posted, "You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job," and threatening to withhold federal funds from the city if Mamdani wins. Any last-minute message for New Yorkers who may be concerned that the president will follow through on his threats?
I look forward to representing those New Yorkers and look forward to fighting for every single dollar this city is owed. What we see in the language of Donald Trump is a premise as if it is his decision on whether or not to fund a city the very money that this city is owed.
Trump called in to campaign events for Republican candidates in Virginia and New Jersey, where a bitter race between Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill is barreling toward the finish line.
You need to go out and vote for Jack Ciattarelli, who's a great guy, a friend of mine.
The Trump-backed Ciattarelli hitting the trail with his son, who returned from serving overseas.
I could not be more excited. The energy up and down the state has been off the charts.
While Sherrill's trying to turn out key Democratic voters.
I believe that with all of you, New Jersey will continue to be a beacon of light and hope for people across the country, across the world, but certainly for people across New Jersey.
A year from the midterm elections, the elections today are an early test of what the country thinks of President Trump and his agenda. They're also a test, guys, for the Democratic Party and whether its future looks more like a moderate Mikey Sherrill or more like Zoran Mamdani. Guys?
Okay, Aaron, thanks. This being our Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein, also our Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce. And Rick, let me begin with you. We're watching a key governor's race in Virginia, voting in California, also a key race in New Jersey.
Yeah, good morning, George. The only other state other than New Jersey that is electing a governor this year is Virginia. Polls show the Democrat Abigail Spanberger leading the Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears consistently. A Democratic win there would not be a surprise. Virginia's been trending blue, and in governor's races, the state almost always votes against the party in the White House. Guys?
All right, but let's talk about California and what we're seeing there on the ballot is the issue of congressional districts. What can you say about that?
Yeah, that's right, Robin. Voters in California are being asked to approve a new map for congressional districts. This is the latest in what's become an unusual redistricting war right here in the middle of the decade. Governor Gavin Newsom pushed a plan to squeeze as many as 5 additional Democratic seats out of the state, and this could be the result, a House map that is bluer than ever. Now, Newsom has cast this as an answer to what Trump and Republicans have been doing for months now. These are the states that are either trying to pass or have already passed new congressional maps this year. The dark red ones are the ones where Republicans have already put new maps into effect. And even if California's law passes today, Republicans are likely to end up with a few more seats out of these new districts when all is said and done, going into a year where the balance of power in Congress could hardly be tighter.
No question about it, Mary. That California race, of course, matters to President Trump. The Democrats in Virginia and New Jersey have also made him the central issue.
George, the president is well aware that 1 year after he returned back to the White House, this is the first major test of how voters feel about what the president has done in office over the last 9 months. He knows that these results will be seen as either a repudiation or a stamp of approval of his administration, and that the economy and affordability are the central issues for so many. The president and his policies have loomed large over all of these races. Trump is featured heavily in ads and on these debate stages. We've seen Democrats slamming his record, Republicans embracing the president, but also trying not to dismiss those very real concerns about the economy and rising costs. And the president notably has not been out campaigning in person. Instead, he's relied heavily on social media and these tele-rallies that Aaron mentioned to get out his message. And of course, the stakes are tremendously high for Democrats as well in their strategy to take on Trump, to oppose this administration and the divisions within their own party as we barrel toward the midterms, George.
Mary Bruce, thanks. ABC News Live will have comprehensive coverage as results come in, streaming tonight from 7 Eastern until midnight on ABC News Live, on Disney Plus and Hulu.
We're going to turn now to a major pasta recall, and I know you got those details for us, Sam.
I do, Robin. I heard you guys at the top of the story, and it's getting serious. As of this morning, there are 2 new deaths linked to listeria bacteria, which brings the total to 6 now, and there are at least 25 hospitalizations that we know of. The CDC says there are 18 states involved. Look, I know it's a long list, but I think it's important if you hear your state, ears up, perk up. California, Florida, Hawaii, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, North Carolina, Nevada, Ohio, Oregon, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Washington. The listeria outbreak linked to recalled ready-to-eat pasta products supplied to stores by Nate's Fine Foods. Now, 9 prepared meal products have been recalled so far by retailers, including Kroger, Walmart, Trader Joe's, and Albertsons. So far, everything reportedly affected is a pre-cooked pasta meal. For example, Trader Joe's Cajun-style blackened chicken breast fettuccine Alfredo, but they will have different names under different stores. So the FDA is working with the CDC to investigate. Since there are a number of pasta meals from different brands involved, we have listed them all on our website, goodmorningamerica.com, so you can check your fridge pretty easily. But check your fridge, throw it away. If you're feeling sick, go to your doctor.
Because this is serious and this is widespread.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Sam. Coming up, major concern grows for tens of millions as the government shutdown is now tied for the longest ever.
Also had a new wonder, unlocking the mysteries of more than 7,000 years of history. James Long is going to take us inside.
You can tell he's very excited to be there. And Lara, you have the life and legacy. Oh, Diane Ladd.
I know. She was an Oscar-nominated actress, a beloved mother to Laura Dern. We have Laura's tribute to her hero.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Back here on GMA, that is a live look at a food pantry outside of Atlanta, where they are hard at work this morning, as you can see. As the government shutdown enters day 35, that ties a record for the longest ever. No sign of a deal to end the stalemate, as the administration says it will only partially pay for food assistance that tens of millions of Americans depend on. Our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, is tracking this for us on Capitol Hill. Good morning, Rachel.
Robin, good morning to you. 35 days in, and we are now on the brink of this becoming the longest government shutdown in American history. This morning, the administration says it will partially fund the federal food assistance for low-income families, but that doesn't cover the entire program, and it could take weeks for that relief to reach the families that need it most.
This morning, 35 days into the government shutdown,
And the 42 million Americans who rely on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, to help put food on the table, now unsure of where their next meal will come from. In the Bronx, Wendy Ho relies on SNAP to feed herself and her adult son who has autism.
We're not rich people. We're ordinary, everyday Americans. So we have to put everything in a budget. And if one thing goes wrong with that budget, it can knock everything out. So what are they supposed to do?
SNAP assistance running out over the weekend. The Trump administration now saying in response to a federal judge's order that it will tap into roughly $4.5 billion to partially fund SNAP. But that's only enough to cover roughly half of the program for this month. And the administration warns it will take a few weeks up to several months to get those payments out. Simone Wilkes, a single mom, has been in limbo. Last week telling us she's already skipping meals to feed her 2 young boys.
It has been days where the kids eat and I'll just survive off water.
R.J. O'Brien speaking with Simone now that benefits have run dry, asking how much she has left.
$23.
You have $23.
Yeah. No, I do not know what I'm going to do.
In Maryland, Governor Wes Moore announcing $62 million to help fully cover November SNAP benefits, saying in a post on social media, "In the face of this cruel government shutdown, we're taking another significant step to protect Maryland families and children." And Robin, you mentioned it. This is now tied for the longest government shutdown in history. The last one, which lasted 35 days, was also under the Trump administration during his first term, guys.
All right, Rachel, thanks to you, George.
Also a huge impact on air travel. Shortage of air traffic controllers across the country and TSA agents. Transportation correspondent Gio Benitez is at LaGuardia Airport. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, George, good morning. Yeah, it's been a mess day after day. It's actually quiet right now, but that's usually how it is in the morning, and then that's when the troubles begin. Take a look at this video now from Houston. So these are the TSA lines. Officials there warning of a third day of long lines just to get past security. The nation's 60,000 TSA officers are also working without pay. They are calling out sick in droves. We're talking about waiting in line for up to 75 minutes at Bush Airport, a half an hour at Hobby Airport. And again, that is just to get through security. This after 2 straight days of more than 3-hour waits. And unfortunately, there is no relief once you actually get to the gate because thousands of flights delayed yesterday as the 13,000 air traffic controllers who are also working without pay are calling out sick too. Ground stops all over the country because if you don't have these controllers, you have to slow down the air traffic to keep the skies safe. And guys, there is no end in sight here because we're told that the longer this shutdown goes on, the worse things will get for air travel. Guys.
That's the feeling. All right, Gio, our thanks to you. Now to remembering actress Diane Ladd, the 3-time Oscar nominee, died yesterday at the age of 89. And you have more on her life and career, Lyra?
I sure do. Good morning to you, Robin. Diane Ladd's daughter, actress Laura Dern, made the heartbreaking announcement that she was by her mom's side when she passed away on Monday. The two have shared the screen many times over the years, but Diane Ladd's success came slowly. She didn't land her breakout movie role until her late 30s when the world discovered her quiet magic.
You can kiss me where the sun don't shine.
With her southern charm and a mix of strength and vulnerability, Diane Ladd would breathe life into unforgettable roles, from a sassy waitress in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
You don't like me very much, do you?
To a working girl in the 1974 classic Chinatown.
Money doesn't matter to me, Mr. Geddes.
And later as Clark Griswold's ever-supportive mother in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, Clark, it's so lovely.
Ladd earned 3 Oscar nominations over the course of her 7-decade career. Her first major role came in the 60s, alongside then-husband Bruce Dern. Ladd would often share the screen with her real-life daughter, Laura Dern, including in 1990's Wild at Heart.
You aren't. And I mean are not gonna see him ever. End of story.
And then a year later in Rambling Rose.
My, you're looking pretty.
They would make history for that film as the first mother-daughter duo to nab Academy Award nominations for the same film in the same year. Ladd spoke about working with her daughter shortly after.
A lot of people said, well, you can be an actress and a mother too. I said, why not? As long as I am willing to make the commitment and put the energy that motherhood deserves, and it deserves a lot of work.
That commitment paying off. In 2020, Ladd watched her daughter accept her very own Oscar.
Some say never meet your heroes, but I say if you're really blessed, you get them as your parents. I share this with my acting heroes, my legends, Diane Ladd and Bruce Dern.
Laura Dern remembering her hero, saying she was the greatest daughter, mother, grandmother, actress, artist, an empathetic spirit that only dreams could have seemingly created.
Wow. Just beautiful. In addition to her daughter, Ladd is survived by 2 loving grandchildren. Her first husband, actor Bruce Dern, remembering her in a moving statement saying, quote, Diane was a tremendous actress and I feel like a little bit of a hidden treasure. But most importantly to me, she was a wonderful mother to our incredible wonderkind daughter. And for that, I will be forever grateful to her.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
She was so lovely, guys. One of my favorite interviews.
Really?
Yes. Absolutely. She will be missed.
She will. Thank you, Lara.
Back now on GMA with the secrets of Egypt. The world's largest archaeological museum has opened with over 100,000 artifacts. And the main attraction, King Tut's complete tomb, displayed for the first time. Chief International Correspondent James, along with the Lucky Duck, he is there at the Grand Egyptian Museum for us. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Robin, and welcome, yes, to the Grand Egyptian Museum. They call Egypt Dunya, mother of the world, and boy, is this the mother of all museums. I mean, I feel like I'm in an aircraft hangar, but it is crammed full of history. These statues to the gods and pharaohs, some 4, 5, 6,000 years old, and at the heart of all this, the brand new exhibit to King Tutankhamun. Ancient Egypt is unveiling a new wonder this morning, the Grand Egyptian Museum and its spectacular new exhibit, King Tutankhamun. Cairo's $1.2 billion modern temple to ancient history may have taken more than 20 years to build, but that's nothing compared to the more than 7,000 years of history it celebrates. And we are some of the first inside. 250,000 square feet of priceless treasures. It's been opening gradually, 100,000 artifacts unlocking the mysteries of ancient Egypt for new audiences. But the main attraction only now open. King Tutankhamun's complete collection, more than 5,000 antiquities on public display together for the first time ever. His funeral mask, a historic icon.
This is what millions of people will come to see, one of the most important and recognizable artifacts in all of human history.
King Tut's tomb was discovered 103 years ago to the day when a 12-year-old boy stumbled on the steps of a staircase hidden in the sand. Now, everything that was buried with him laid out in stunning simplicity.
The thing I'm most excited about are the sarcophagi. King Tutankhamun's coffins that he would have been buried in, they fit one inside the other. Solid gold, they're perfectly preserved.
These American visitors surprised to find they're among the first here.
Over 3,000 years, and we're seeing real history.
We've seen stuff from 3,500 to 4,000 BC. Amazing.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, isn't it? Can you get your head around that? It's quite difficult to kind of compute.
Yeah, it is difficult.
When in the States stuff's 300 or 400 years old, then that's ancient.
I've just come from the Louvre, where they had a big break-in. That must be in your mind.
Definitely. Security is on the top. And to tell you the truth, you've seen here a top-notch type of display. We have the highest security measures that you can think of.
And at the opening of the museum, the sky above the pyramids lit up in a spectacular drone show. All of Egypt's ancient history recreated in modern masterpiece. Now they're hoping for some 8 million visitors a year here. You can see it is already packed. I've got to say, I'm hearing a lot of American accents already. But I've got to say, when you're right up close to some of these artifacts, especially the pure gold, I mean, it is so perfectly preserved, and we're talking 3,000, 4,000 years old. It is unbelible, guys. Worth a visit.
It looks unbelievable. And so you're so lucky to be there. Didn't you put in for that assignment?
I sure did. James, remember? You and I had a whole plan.
Oh, yeah, we know what you would have done.
Foiled again.
Glad that you're there, James. Glad that you're there.
Double trouble for play of the day. Who's starting?
Let me go first.
Okay, go for it.
All right, because as we like to say in the sports world, it's back-to-back, baby. A coronation for the Kings of the Diamond, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who win from facing elimination just a couple of days ago, now celebrating back-to-back World Series titles with a confetti-strewn parade, if you will, through the streets of downtown Los Angeles. Fans line the streets by the thousands, some of them who called in sick, just for the chance to see their beloved Dodgers. After the parade, the double-decker buses headed to Dodger Stadium for a sold-out rally in front of thousands more fans. Shohei Ohtani, who shocked many at the stadium by addressing the crowd in English. Here we go. Shohei telling...
Hello. I want to say that I'm so proud of this team. And then I want to say you guys are the greatest fans in the world. And then I'm ready to get another ring next year.
Wow, you learned fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
The crowd loved it. Robin perked right up, too. Ohtani telling fans he's ready to work hard for the next season for a third straight ring, and they are early favorites to do it again. Lara.
Oh, wow. Caught it. Sammy, I will see your baseball and raise you one marathon, because a massive crowd at that celebration in LA, but also one right here in New York City. Check that out. What a crowd running through the streets of the 5 beautiful boroughs and breaking a world record in the process. Sunday's New York City Marathon broke a record for the largest marathon ever, 59,000 plus, crossing the finishing line. The second consecutive year the race has broken the world record. And guys, we're not sure if this is a world record, but it is indeed very impressive. One of those 59,000 people who crossed the finish line was Jordan Litz. 37-year-old Broadway actor celebrates doing the marathon by performing not one, but 2 performances of Wicked on Broadway. Yeah, finished the marathon and went and did not 1, but 2 shows. Congratulations to you.
All right.
He's still sleeping.
Hey, we got a whole marathon runner here, Lori Bergamato.
Lori!
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Number 8.
This is 8. 8 is enough. I think I'm done. It was a day I'll never forget, but a race I'll probably never run again.
We'll be right back.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m. Breaking news. Former Vice President Dick Cheney passed away overnight at 84 years old after a consequential career serving the country for decades.
I saw a lot of history. I was there when a lot of it was made, and I'll always be tremendously grateful for having had that opportunity.
His legacy this morning.
Food banks across the country stepping in during the government shutdown, which is threatening food benefits for more than 40 million Americans.
Instagram official, Jennifer Aniston announces her new relationship.
Dancing through life.
Wicked star, Jurassic actor, and Bridgerton heartthrob.
All I find myself being able to breathe for is you.
Jonathan Bailey is the new sexiest man alive, dancing away with the title. Right before the highly anticipated sequel hits the big screen. As we say, good morning, America.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Tuesday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. It's hard to believe that Christmas is going to be here before we know it. So it's time to start thinking about your tree. And Lori Bergamato has the trees for you. Also ahead, Dr. Tara Narula is here with the new research on walking and Alzheimer's.
Yeah, important information there. First look at the top stories breaking at 8. We start with the breaking news overnight that the 46th Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, has passed away, 84 years old. I want to bring back our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. During a political career that spanned more than a half a century, Dick Cheney served as the youngest White House chief of staff, a Republican leader in Congress, Secretary of Defense during a time of war, the most powerful vice president ever, and one of the most consequential, powerful, and controversial political figures of our time.
I believe you're looking at the next vice president of the United States.
There had never been a vice president quite like Dick Cheney. He was a polarizing figure, beloved by conservatives and vilified by the left. He favored aggressive actions against suspected terrorists and was unapologetic about the use of harsh tactics, including waterboarding, which many regarded as torture.
I was a big supporter of the enhanced interrogation techniques.
Cheney's first big job in Washington was working for President Gerald Ford's chief of staff. In 1989, President George H.W. Bush nominated Cheney to be Secretary of Defense.
Dick Cheney is a trusted friend and advisor, and I'm convinced that he's going to be a great leader of our nation's military forces.
It was the September 11 terrorist attacks that would define a new era for the nation and Cheney's role in the administration. With President Bush traveling, it was Cheney who was in the White House Situation Room during the September 11th attacks, giving the military the order to shoot down any unresponsive aircraft. Less than a month after September 11th, the U.S. launched attacks against al-Qaeda and its Taliban allies in Afghanistan. He advocated the use of warrantless wiretapping, the expansion of executive privilege, and enhanced interrogation techniques. In later years, Cheney broke with the far right on several issues, including same-sex marriage.
As many of you know, one of my daughters is gay, and something that we've lived with for a long time in our family. I think people ought to be free to enter into any kind of union they wish.
In 2024, the lifelong Republican endorsed Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris over Trump, saying Trump should never be trusted with power again after January 6th, and that Americans each have a duty to put country above partisanship to defend our Constitution.
How is Dick Cheney going to be remembered?
I saw a lot of history, was there when a lot of it was made, and I'll always be tremendously grateful for having had that opportunity. But in terms of how I performed, some people will agree with it. I run into them all the time. I also run into people that didn't like what I did or why I did it. But I'm very comfortable with what I did and why I did it and how I did it. And I'll let others judge whether they liked it or not.
Do you have any regrets?
Not really.
I mean, that is classic Dick Cheney, a man of few words and the rare politician who seemed to genuinely not care what other people thought of him. I remember when Martha Raddatz interviewed him when Cheney was vice president, and Martha went through a series of polls that showed just how deeply unpopular at the time Cheney was. And when she got through the list, he just looked at her and said, "So?"
Wow.
Yeah, he did not care at all. But he really set an example in the last couple of years. He said the Constitution and the rule of law is more important than any particular Republican policies that he supported for years.
And look, it was a massive twist for a guy who had been one of the most partisan, deeply partisan Republicans of certainly my lifetime. But he saw it as entirely consistent. His life was dedicated to protecting America from existential threats. And at the end, he saw Donald Trump and his movement as a threat to American democracy.
He truly was country over party.
He absolutely.
And you forget about all the different political positions he held, not just VP.
I mean, he was, really the first consequential Republican, first serious Republican to come out in favor for gay marriage, something that he did before many prominent Democrats did. Absolutely.
All right, John, thank you for sharing that with us. Now to food banks across the country stepping up during the government shutdown, which is threatening food benefits for more than 40 million Americans. Take a look at Peekskill in Westchester County, New York. Food deliveries will now arrive 6 days a week instead of 2, 6 instead of 2. And in Fort Myers, Florida, they're ramping up staff and volunteers there as well. Steve Osunsami is just outside Atlanta at Solidarity Sandy Springs, where they're hard at work as well this morning. Good morning to you, Steve.
Good morning to you, Robin. Like so many food pantries across the country, this one north of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Georgia, the Solidarity Sandy Springs Food Bank needs help. Canned meats, fruits, vegetables, but this is what they tell us they need the most of. Breakfast cereals to feed children. Normally, they serve around 700 families a week. Last week, they tell us it was around 900, and they signed up 25 families on Saturday alone. That's the day SNAP benefits ended. I live here in Georgia near the CDC, where some 600 families have lost their jobs. Their people and their families have lost their jobs this year. The food bank closest to me tells me they've never been busier, serving 1,000 families last week. Across the country, nearly a dozen states have declared an emergency because of the ending of these benefits, and it's affecting 1.4 million Americans here in Georgia alone. Robin.
And Steve, a federal judge, as we know, has ordered the administration to use emergency funds to pay for SNAP benefits, right?
That's right. We're talking about billions of dollars that the administration is now saying that it will pour into the program, but that will take quite a while to get to the recipients who need the help. Yeah. If you need help or would like to help a food pantry, we have a way. Scan the QR code that you see on your screen right now, or go to our website, our Good Morning America website, where you will find a database of food pantries across America. Robin.
Steve, our thanks to you, and please thank those volunteers that are behind you right now doing the work that they are. Thank you so much, Steve. I know we're going to stay on top of this because these are pantries and food banks all across the country that are in need. But now we have a GMA health alert on Alzheimer's disease. New research out this morning finds walking a few thousand steps daily could help slow the cognitive decline linked to the disease. Our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Tara Narula, is here with more, so break it on down.
Well, if we needed one more study to tell us to move more, here it is. So this was a study of about 300 older Americans, 50 to 90 years old, Robin, who had no dementia, but did have evidence of amyloid plaques in the brain, that early sign of Alzheimer's disease. Researchers gave them a pedometer, had them walk for about a week, and then followed them over 14 years. They did cognitive testing and PET scans to look at their brain. And they found that those who walked about 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day, again, not that much, about 1.5 to 2.5 miles, reduced their cognitive decline by about 3 years. Those who walked 5,000 to 7,000 steps slowed their cognitive decline by about 7 years. If you went over 7,000 steps, it seemed like the benefits kind of plateaued, which we've seen before with some of those other studies. They also looked at that plaque in the brain and a different kind of plaque, one called tau, which forms tangles and we think is really part of the pathologic process of Alzheimer's. And those who really moved moderately, who had larger evidence of amyloid, they actually reduced the progression or development of that tau protein in the brain. On the other hand, those who were sedentary over time had more tau in the brain. How might exercise impact this? Well, we think that increases cerebral blood flow or blood flow to the brain. It helps clear out toxins, and it may have anti-inflammatory effects. Now, this was a small study and definitely needs to be replicated in a larger, more diverse population. But once again, evidence that says just a small, moderate amount of walking could be really, really beneficial.
There were about 300, you said, in this study?
300 people, yes.
So let's get back to the basics. How do people get started?
Well, George, again, it comes down to really making a mindful, intentional effort to increase your movement every single day, right? So you want to build it into your daily routine. So everyone who's watching TV now, you can stand up and start walking in place. Take a walk to the grocery store. Get up on your lunch break during your office hours and take a walk. We just got a dog, Harley. She's definitely making all of us walk a lot more. George, you could take up dancing. I know that's something you love.
I'll walk with the phone.
Really important prevention for a disease that affects 7 million Americans.
We're starting year 51, still trying to get you to dance.
We're going to make it happen. I know we can, George.
So when did you get Harley?
We got her about a week and a half ago. She's 9 weeks, golden retriever.
I know why you named Harley.
Yeah, my husband rides a Harley, yes. To my dismay, yes. I'm not happy about that. But
she's got to meet Fig, two 9-week-old golden retrievers. No, Fig is older now. She's
you have a golden too?
Yeah,
she's
Fig.
Golden yellow lab mix.
Oh.
You didn't see Fig when Fig was here?
No, but they can play. We can have a play game.
Coming up in our GMA morning menu, Jennifer Aniston's going Instagram official with her new relationship. We're going to tell you what we know about her new boyfriend.
Sometimes I think we forget we're on television. Also had the best places to retire in the U.S. Lara will tell us the top cities coming up in Pop News.
And Lori Bergamotto has artificial Christmas trees at every price point. And Larry said, we got a special guest.
It was the best. Sam's in Miami, I'm in Delray, and Robin's in Key West.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, if you guys ever
Road
want to go
trip.
down, come on.
Oh my gosh, sorry, we're on. Thank you, Brett. We have to sign the new wall. Sweeney is here. Sam, you're going to tell everybody about the role.
It's Christy Martin, but hey,
Christy
I just found out that you actually can beat people up anyway.
Yes, this is the role she plays, boxer, but it's near and dear to her heart. We'll talk about the transformation. We'll talk about so much more coming up on GMA.
We are back with our GMA cover story, Jennifer Aniston. She's made her new relationship official. Sophie Flay is here with the story. Good morning, Sophie.
Hey, good morning. Love is in the air, or at least on Instagram. Jennifer Aniston is coupled up and sharing a peek into her new relationship.
This morning,
Actor Jennifer Aniston going Instagram official with her new beau, hypno coach Jim Curtis. 56-year-old Aniston posting this photo for his birthday on Instagram with the caption, "Happy birthday, my love. Cherished."
They're my new, I don't need a job, I don't need my parents, I've got great boots.
The Friends and Morning Show star posting this photo of Curtis with his face obscured in September, and back in May, posting a shot of Curtis's book, Shift. So, who is Jim Curtis? He's a hypnotist, a coach and author who, according to his website, works with clients to uncover and release the subconscious blocks holding you back and awaken the truth of who you really are.
Jennifer Aniston, sources told us, was actually familiar with his teachings and had read some of his writing prior to meeting him. We know that Jennifer Aniston has long cared about her health and her fitness, and this kind of falls in line with that. This is someone who calms her, who recenters her in her life and her everyday work.
Aniston never shying away from love, previously married to Brad Pitt for 5 years in the early 2000s. As for Jim, the hypnotist opening up about love himself on Instagram, sharing,
"How to find love at 42? That's a great question. Same as you do at 22 and 32, but with more confidence, more experience, and more authenticity."
Aniston has recently opened up about her years of infertility struggles, and given Curtis's background, it's possible we're hearing more from her due to this new relationship. Though we haven't seen much from the pair yet, they do leave sweet little comments on each other's Instagram posts. We love to see those heart emojis, right, guys?
So we love her.
Yes.
I think all of us just want her to be happy. She's
Absolutely.
like America's friend.
Yes.
And we want to welcome you to the club.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. It's truly an honor.
Yeah. Joe, watching you on GMA First Look,
Oh,
right now.
thanks.
How are those hours working for you?
They're great, Robin. I love them.
Sophie,
I
right
love them.
Thank you. How about a pop news down
Yes,
there?
let's do it. Good morning, everybody. We're going to begin with the 2025 Sexiest Man Alive. I'm sorry. Next year, maybe. You were a contender. You were a contender, but it is Jonathan Bailey, everybody.
Well deserved.
Bailey has been on a hot streak with his turn as Lord Anthony Bridgerton and his breakout role in Wicked, and now he is people's first openly gay man to be named Sexiest Man Alive. Bailey calls it a huge honor. He says he's completely flattered. As for keeping the news a secret, Bailey tells people that the friends that he'd been keeping it from as a secret are going to be furious at not knowing, but will squeal with delight when they find out. You can see more exclusive content from People's Sexiest Man Alive issue on the People app right now, and he should also be named People's nicest guy because he is wonderful. So congratulations, Jonathan. And Sam, for you, to me, it's always you.
64 years never happened. All right, let's go.
Also, this morning, everybody, we're going to bend it like Sir David Beckham.
Oh.
The former soccer star, president of Inter Miami Football Club, longtime philanthropist, he has received the honor of knighthood for service to sport and charity at an investiture ceremony at Windsor Castle.
Wow.
It happened just this morning. The event hosted by King Charles, the former Manchester United player and soccer icon, will now be referred to as Sir David Beckham. His wife becomes Lady Beckham. Back in 2003, Sir David was appointed an officer of the Order of the British Empire, so he was an OBE, but now he has stepped up to full knighthood. He is deeply committed to his charitable work. He's been a UNICEF ambassador for more than 2 decades and has done so many other things as well. So congratulations in order there to Sir David and Lady Victoria.
Important.
Yes.
So we can't call her Posh? Is it
She's
Lady Posh?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay, all right.
No, I'm going to go with just Sir Victoria.
Yeah.
I mean, no, Lady
Victoria.
Now, how about some rest and relaxation, everybody? U.S. News and World Report has just released its best places to retire in the U.S. They analyzed data for more than 850 cities to assess how well they meet Americans' retirement needs and expectations. They picked the best 250. Florida and Texas, they dominate the list, but here are the top 5. I'm not going to do all 250. I'm sorry. I know you wanted it, Sam. Here are the top 5. Spring, Texas.
Yep.
Woodland, Texas. Third place is how do I say that?
Homosassa Springs.
Homosassa Springs, Florida. Number 2, Weirton, West Virginia. The #1 place to retire, write this down, Midland, Michigan, scored highest in affordability.
What's the criteria for
affordability, retiree taxes, happiness, and quality of life based on a multitude of interviews. So congratulations to you.
That's
and then
for real,
hopefully we're helping you. For real. And that is Pop News, everybody.
Thank you, Lara. Let's go to Ginger.
Yeah, I know. That was my first market in mid-Michigan there.
No way.
Yes, and so
did
I
you
know
feel
Midland. You know, many reasons not, but that wasn't to do with the place. I mean, if we're honest. But I love everywhere in Michigan because I'm a Michigander. So.
Look what you've done, Lori Bergamotto. This is beautiful. 51 days until Christmas. It's time to start decorating. If you're opting for an artificial tree this year, Lori Bergamotto has the top picks for every home and every budget. Yes, we've got one for you, and they're all shoppable right now.
They are indeed, Sam. And you know, 80% of us are buying artificial Christmas trees, according to the American Christmas Tree
Association. Because of the maintenance.
Yes, and also, you know, it lasts longer. You can use it year after year. So let's talk about this one, which we're actually really excited about because it's from Balsam Hill, which is an industry leader. They're like a global juggernaut of Christmas trees. And what we loved about this one that's different from their other classic ones is it has a more sustainable approach.
Okay.
So you can feel the needles here, right?
You really can. They're needly.
Yes, and these are made...
I mean that nicely.
These are made from a plant-derived plastic. So lower carbon emissions. And what you're looking for here is for a high tip count. This one has over 7,000. You're looking for over 2,000, and right now it's 40% off.
That's
but it's only going to stay that way for a short time. So get on it, guys.
Do this tree because that thing is gorgeous and it looks so real. I'm standing right beside it.
Okay.
Now, I mean, this is a little less traditional, but it's gorgeous. Is that baby blue?
It is baby blue, Sam. Okay, so what was pink last year was like the big trend for a color tree is now all about this icy blue, silver, white motif.
Gorgeous.
So you can see this one we found at Michael's. It's flocked.
Yeah.
So it has that like frosty, just snowed vibe to it.
But it stays on.
It does
it's
stay
not
on.
coming off of my hand.
And this is pre-lit.
Okay.
I know, I love that. Yeah, because usually with flocked trees,
you
have to just kind of deal with the mess. But
Right.
no, this one is great. And again, it comes pre-lit, so you can really have a good time just putting it on, participating in that trend, and then get your ornaments and do whatever you want while you're at Michael's.
Pre-lit is so modern.
I know,
it's the way to go.
It is.
Don't roll up and unroll those lights anymore. Oh.
Well, but if you want to, Sam.
Okay, all right, but should you?
Okay, so wait, let me ask you. Do you do white lights or do you do multicolored?
So I have the lights that you can change. They have the button on them. So some
Versatility,
days
Sam
I want them
Champion.
bright white,
Okay, well, this is the kind of tree that you can do anything you want. So you have a blank canvas.
Yes.
And this is our value buy. So we found these at Amazon. Sam, these trees start at $43.
Get out of here, Lori. That's such a good deal.
Isn't that a great deal? And they have over 15,000 5-star reviews.
Right.
That 7.5-foot one is actually under $100, which really is an incredible price, especially when you think about the fact that you're going to use it year after year after year. So you can find these on Amazon.
Yep.
And Sam, finally, because there was so much debate about these trees in the morning, everybody was like, is this a New Year's tree? Is this? People are so into these trees from Target. So we are clocking this as the new micro trend for holiday.
Right.
It's a tinsel tree, a mini tinsel tree. Target Wonder Shop. People are in on these. Fun colors, or you can go full. Sam's into this tree.
I am so into this tree because you have to adjust it all the time. It needs attention. You want to comb it and almost pet it a little bit.
You have to touch it. It begs to be touched.
Robin,
it's
make this 9 feet tall and I'm in.
And they're $15.
And $15, that's fantastic.
So fun. We're going to see it on Sam Champion's desk later. Or maybe Robin's, who knows?
So fantastic.
Oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous.
I mean, it is really beautiful. This is too. All right, you can find all these trees on our website. Coming up, Sydney Sweeney is here. And by the way, she's amazing. You'll get a chance to say hi.
Welcome back to GMA, live from New York City.
And we are back with Sydney Sweeney. She broke out with roles in Euphoria and Anyone But You. Now she stars as a boxer in her new film, Christy. Welcome. We are going to talk about Christy, but first you have to tell everybody about your Friendsgiving.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness, I was just explaining that for Thanksgiving, my friends and I are putting together a Friendsgiving party, and it's going to be called Shreksgiving. It's going to be
Everybody has to
Shrek
dress.
themed. Everybody has to dress up as different Shrek, like fairy tale characters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Serving the turkey in green face paint.
Everything.
I love it.
Let's talk about the movie. You actually have a background in fighting.
I do. I grew up kickboxing and grappling.
Right.
Yeah. I know. We were talking about it
I know.
backstage, and I was like, wait, rewind. This role is made for you.
Jiu-jitsu, everything.
Everything. I was 12 when I started, and I did it up until I was like 19, 20 years old.
So what drew you to the film?
I mean, Christy's story is just unbelievable. I couldn't believe when I first read it that I didn't know who she was. And I was
Tell
like,
people a bit who she is.
So Christy Martin is a professional boxer who came up during a time when women in the sport was not popular. She was a trailblazer for women boxers, and she ends up marrying her trainer, and
Much older,
who unfortunately manipulates her, and she becomes a victim of domestic violence. And when she tries to leave for the love of her life, who was a woman, he shoots and stabs her.
Wow. Unbelievable.
I remember covering her.
So I'm so sorry. Go, Robin.
No, go ahead.
When you hear about this role, and not only is it such a dramatic story, but also, as you just alluded to, it's in you. You just must have wanted it badly.
Beyond. I mean, I remember when I got on the first Zoom with the director, I said, I don't care. I want to produce this. I just want to be a part of telling her story, because I think that, like Christy says, she wants it to save lives. And I want to be a part of telling that and hopefully opening doors for other people.
Yes.
And it's unbelievable. I wanted to lose myself for this.
And you did, because I'm telling you, I watched the trailer. I cannot wait to see it on the big screen. I want to see it on the big screen.
Thank you.
Transformative. I was like, is that you? I mean, all that you had to put into the role physically.
I did. I gained 35 pounds for the role.
Whoa. 35
pounds. Yeah. And that's a lot on a little frame.
Yeah, it was so much fun though, because I grew up in Idaho with my family, and my grandma's my neighbor, and I turned her shed into my Rocky gym. And I put a floor ring in and boxing bags, and I brought my trainers up there, and I had a boxing coach and a weight trainer, and every single day I'd weight train in the morning and night, and I'd box for like 2-3 hours a day.
Oh my God.
And just protein shakes after protein shakes. And I trained up there.
Yeah, well, it has really paid off. I want everybody.
Thank you.
Here we go. Take a look.
I didn't mean to.
Oh my gosh. And that was real. I mean, you really.
Oh no, we're actually
I
hitting
know,
each
that's
other.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like we were knocking each other out. We were getting bloody noses. I got a concussion. We were actually fighting.
And Christy Martin was there on set.
She was.
How was that?
A dream come true. It was so fun having her there. I mean, especially when we were doing the fighting scenes, I'd hear her on the bottom of the ring going, "Hit her with the left hook." I'm like, "You know what I'm gonna do, Christy." So fun.
This looks so great. I do not want to miss it. But when you're here, I have to have like a Cassie Euphoria update. So
Sam is a super fan.
So you want to tell us anything about this season?
You just wrapped.
I just
right?
wrapped. I wrapped yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I wrapped yesterday. The only thing I can say is it's about God.
Wow.
Not what I expected.
No. People are going to find God. Some people are going to need God.
Ooh,
wow.
That's a good tease.
That is a fantastic
that
tease.
is really good.
Very well.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You've left Sam speechless.
I could have made a list of things I was expecting that would not have been there.
Honestly, Sam.
Well done to you, Sydney. I also want to take a moment to talk to you about these rumors, which
Please ask her. Please ask her.
Oh gosh.
Bond girl. Is there a
Okay.
shot that you might be a future Bond girl?
I
Because
don't
a lot of
know.
people are talking about this.
A lot of people are talking about it. I keep seeing it. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
No idea.
have
Would you
no
like
idea.
it? Would you like to do that role?
I don't know.
You'd need to
I'd have
know
to
more.
see it all.
Yeah.
You gotta see the script.
Yeah.
Gotta see the script.
How amazing, though.
We tried, America.
I
Sam and I
have no
tried.
answer. I have no answer. I'm sorry.
No, you did great. And we're so happy.
Thank you for coming in.
We've all fallen in love with you. You do know that, right?
Anytime
Come
you want
on.
to come back.
Thank you guys.
And happy Shrek's-giving to you.
We'll all see each other in Key West.
Yes. Just reminded myself, hey.
Christy is in theaters on Friday.
As we were all just talking about, it's been a very busy few days here, and I know it has been if you've been watching too. Our 50th birthday, staffers were running the New York City Marathon, and everybody, we ran a relay at exactly the same time. Not me. But it was a whole lot more fun for our Lori Bergamotto. She ran the entire 26.2 miles. Is fun the word, Lori? Tell us how it went, because we watched you get ready.
Thank you, guys. That's right. With 3 young kids, a demanding job, and some very tired knees, as you guys know, I was reluctant to run the New York City Marathon, but I said yes, left all those doubts at the starting line, and had the most memorable marathon Sunday. Take a look.
Beautiful day for a marathon.
There was no turning back now. But when GMA asked me to run the marathon,
do you know what a marathon is?
No. Challenge accepted.
7.5 miles in. It's not going terribly. Kicking off 13 miles today. 11.2 miles. And I'm walking. Really hot. Okay. Almost 8.5 miles. Not easy.
I had some good days.
Not a terrible way to do 6 miles. Not too shabby.
And some days were a struggle.
Both of my legs feel like they've been dipped in cement. I don't know how I've done this 7 times. I was younger, stronger knees.
Before I knew it,
It's happening. Whether I like it or not, I am running this marathon.
3 days later, it was go time.
Made it to Brooklyn!
Seeing my friends, some who'd flown across the country to surprise me, brought on all the emotions. My GMA fam kept my spirit soaring.
On the Queensboro Bridge, entering Manhattan. This is one of my favorite parts.
Crossing into Manhattan at mile 16, knowing more friends and my family were waiting for me, had me feeling all the love and gave me a renewed energy.
Go, go, go! Lori!
26.2. Took me a while. My friends, turns out, can do hard things.
Yeah, Lori.
Thank you. Here it is. And finishing that race, cheered on by so many strangers, friends, and family, moved me forward both physically and emotionally. I felt the camaraderie, the unity, the positivity that every single one of us could use every single day. And though I am unlikely to run that grueling 26.2 miles again, I am certain, you guys, that I will carry that marathon spirit with me forever. I'm getting chills just talking about it.
8 is plenty. You've done well. Wow.
Thank you, George.
What do you do right after the marathon ends?
I cried. That was the first. You're so relieved.
Was there something you were dying to eat? Or?
No, I was dying to get home to my kids. You know, my youngest is just turned 5, and so I wanted to get home to her. And she was so funny because when I walked in and she saw my medal, she said, "Did you win?" And I said, "No." She said, "Oh, how about second?" And I said, "No." And I let her do it until we got to 4th. And apparently she's telling everyone in her school that her mom placed 4th. So don't tell her. Probably 44,000. But yeah, it was great, and I appreciated all the support here. So thanks, you guys.
A lot of people that were there.
Yeah, so many GMA fans.
And it's not easy to run with a phone all the time.
No, Robin, I have to tell you, it was not. Almost got trampled a few times.
You did a great job.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So, switching gears, we do want to do this behind-the-scenes look at the cultural phenomenon that was Dorothy, Blanche, Rose, and Sophia. Yes, I'm talking about the Golden Girls. 40 years of laughter and friendship. This is a special edition of 2020 featuring rarely seen footage as well as interviews with celebrity superfans. I am one of them. It airs Tuesday on ABC. It streams the next day on Disney Plus and Hulu. Here's a peek.
Next Tuesday night.
Who wasn't a fan of the Golden Girls?
I was in high school when I was watching it the first time. It's 40 years, but it's day one fresh.
Which Golden Girl am I?
In my fantasy mind, I'm Blanche. Practically, I'm Dorothy.
Obsessed with Blanche Devereaux. I'd probably be Dorothy. I'm a Dorothy.
The master of the look.
Oh, I love it.
40 years later, people still love the Golden Girls. Can I ask ask a dumb question?
Better than anyone I know.
It was raw. It was raunchy.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, no, I never wear underwear. And it was hilarious.
Thank you for being.
Thank you for being.
Thank you for being a friend. Oh, I love you guys.
The Golden Girls, 40 years of laughter and friendship. Next Tuesday night on ABC. And watch The Golden Girls. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
And we are back, raising awareness about a rare chronic condition that affects about 500,000 Americans, leaving them unable to do the things they love. This segment is sponsored by Insmed. It's a global biopharmaceutical company that wants to help educate our viewers on the signs and the symptoms.
Lavonda has been living with a little-known chronic condition that affects around 500,000 Americans.
I never even heard of it.
It's called bronchiectasis, or BE, and it's a progressive inflammatory lung disease that can result in long periods of coughing, shortness of breath, and fatigue. Its debilitating flare-ups can last up to 1 month.
I thought that I was maybe developing pneumonia or I'm getting a cold. So I decided to go to my regular physician, and she did some testing and she said, I think you need to go to a pulmonologist. That tiredness, it's like you really can't do the things that you want to do. Like even everyday things in the house, like clean up.
The condition also impacts Lavonda's social and emotional well-being.
I find that the wind or the weather causes problems for me. So I don't always get to go out and do the things that I want to outside. So I just, let my family know, and they certainly do understand that I'm fine staying home, reading a book.
But it can sometimes be a harsh reality for this wife and mother.
I want to be around to share experiences.
It's a condition our sponsor, Insmed, has been studying closely.
There's a development of the disease that can start out lighter and then can progress over time. When you have 2 or 3 or more flare-ups in a year, that is a sign that your disease may really progressing. And every time there is a flare-up, you can actually walk away with lung damage.
Symptoms can be similar to other lung conditions like asthma or COPD, which can lead to a delayed diagnosis.
You could have both bronchiectasis and COPD. And it's important to differentiate and diagnose COPD or asthma or bronchiectasis.
According to Insmed, some patients may also confuse BE with a common cold, further delaying diagnosis.
If you have repeated severe infections and you have a chronic cough and you are tired more than usual, please see a pulmonologist and tell them about the severity and how long the symptoms have been. You can also go to the website of explorebe.com if you want to learn more about bronchiectasis.
It's so important to be able to take the necessary steps to control and handle this disease.
Really important information. Our thanks to sponsor Insmed. And we do have more information on our GMA Facebook and Instagram pages.
We're back on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being with us.
And for more news, check out What You Need to Know anytime on Disney+. So long.